For Brian, it all started on that trip back to the UK from the States.
Took a charter flight on a 747 to London, landed at Heathrow, took a cab to the city center. Don't let Mick Jagger lie to you, being famous is not for the ugly. I was staying at Kensington House, the most beautiful hotel in the world. Dylan and Robbie are too. We smoke hash, jam, call a couple of friends who take me to all places, Denmark Street. I flirted a bit at Cino's, buy some books, and then follow some girls with mod hair. I wandered around trying to get laid until it started to rain, then went back to the Marquee. Trad Night is dead, so I go to Bag of Nails, but it's all guitarists. I find the one American chick and we dry hump on the dance floor. We cab it back to Kensington House. I strip her clothes off, suck her toes, and we fuck. Hung out for 4 or 5 days, met the world's greatest guitarist, Jimi Hendrix. Kept missing calls from Mick and Keith. Wrote my dad a postcard I never sent. Stood trial for last year's drug bust in front of a judge with hard eyes. Smoked a lot of hash and the trial gets postponed. Got paranoid, got weird, tried jumping out a window, got committed. It was boring, I'm annoyed. I split for the US with Hendrix. His band doesn't do acid, so I dosed Noel Redding on the plane. He loses his mind on a flight to California. We land, I insist on visiting a sex show, smoke a lot of hash. I meet an American TV actress and we drink absinthe at a bar called Absinthe. Monterey Pop was cool, lots of Stones fans and the backstage was intense. Wandered around trying to pick up Grace Slick, ended up with Nico. Snort coke with Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda until I found some blonde with big tits that reminds me of Anita. I gave her $100. In the end, she pulls me out and I come between her tits even though I'm so high, I'm barely hard. Afterward, we make small talk about venereal disease, her pimp and herself. I wait to the sound of Jerry Garcia singing. It's 8 a.m. and hot as blazes. I pretend to like it, but Jerry sounds like piss. Trade songs to Janis Joplin, then split from London by plane. Wander around the airport before locating my driver. It's only 7 p.m. My relationship with Keith is broken. Got the hang of copping. Heroin is everywhere. Went to a Ford model party, hooked up with a Romanian model named Karina. She chugs my cock back at the Hilton, which is good. Played billiards, went shopping. I think she gave me crabs. Drove an Aston Martin that belonged to George Harrison. Made out with an Apple secretary in front of Abbey Road. Saw Mick at the live broadcast of All You Need Is Love with the Beatles. Alan Klein invites us to New York. We fly commercial and stay at the Waldorf. New York swings like you can't imagine. Hendrix lets me jam with him in the Village. New York girls are tough like Berber whores. I swap hickeys with a drunk woman. After brushing my hair and calling me Mr. UK, she stirs for me in the bathroom of the club. Sneak into a cathedral and steel chartreuse so good my dick goes hard. I fly to Barcelona, which is a low-rent bus. Too many fat American tourists, too many lame pencil necks. I dropped acid at the Sagrada Familia, which is a trip to say the least. Cruised up the coast with Salvador Dali, but had no more acid, which sucked. Suki from London wires my hotel. I tell her to ignore making Keith's calls. Kenta Cruz is beautiful, but there are no girls there, just young hippies. So I went to Switzerland, where ironically I couldn't find anyone with time. Took FO Railway to the Shilton, which is beautiful in a way I can't describe. Took a train into Italy and ended up in Venice, where I met a hot girl who looks like Marianne Faithfull and speaks better English than I do. She's living for a year on only $1 a day. We gondola around, buy some hash. She thinks I'm a capitalist because my hotel room costs more for one night than she's spending her entire trip. She doesn't mind so much when I pay the bills. I ditch her and hook up with a couple who obviously want a threesome. Too much tension there with the geek officer driving to Rome and offer I jump at. I'm too stoned to arrange for travel. The wife turns out to be a freak. The guy starts to freak out on me. It's like a Polanski film. We stop for a while in Florence where I see some big dome. I'm so high and I lose the weird couple, which is probably for the best. Ended up in Morocco, which is hot, sexy, and dirty, just like Rome, but with music. I tracked down Jujuka players who are ridiculously good. I tried to record them for 2 hours, but it's too hot. The tape machine doesn't want to work. I meet 2 underage Italian girls, so I try to talk into fucking while I jack off into them. Or I buy them some hash instead. My drug trial is coming up, so I do more drugs. I bump into some guy from Dartford who says he's Mick Jagger, but I'm sure he's a puff, so I go to London. The band is surprised to see me. The music they're working on is a shit Peppers ripoff. I pass out and dream about Elmore James. When I wake up, I'm propped on pillows, sitar in my lap. I tell Mick he can go fuck Keith. I don't know what it means, but I shake with paranoia, strum the sitar in the booth, and check out. I make my way back to Tangiers with Suki, hang in the hills, sacrifice a goat with the locals at a pan rights fest, get annoyed with Suki and beat her to near death. Flew back to London to await trial for possession, pleaded guilty, judge has mercy, fined £50. Attend the rock and roll circus filming and get lost in wardrobe for a full day, and I can't find my way out. I watch John Lennon's new girlfriend freak out Chuck Berry. Mick scraps the whole thing. We get stoned and I record percussion on Midnight Rambler, and the next morning I wake up talking to myself. I retire to Christopher Robinson's home in the country. I get my drugs but barely make any music. Back here, without a band, I no longer know who I am, and I feel like a ghost of a total stranger.